Hey, good morning, my friends. How are you? Thanks for joining me on this video on another episode of the Daily Dose. Happy Monday to you all. So today, I woke up today and I got to be totally transparent here. The last 3 days, I took some time to myself. I was in a bit of a depressive state, and I've been really focusing on busting through and showing up here daily for you, creating videos, staying on track, consistency. And I have to be totally honest, I was in a depressive state, and I just didn't have any motivation to really get out. And I know that's probably the best time to go do it, so I'm learning from my experiences here, but I want to share with you, be transparent on where I'm at. So I'm feeling really called to get out and do some traveling. I'm going to actually take you guys with me on the road. I'm going to be driving up the coast towards Oregon, and I'm going to share the whole experience with you. So I'll have some very exciting videos coming, but this morning I got myself up. I just put my shoes on, so I'm going to go down here. I'm going to make this video because I did drop a podcast episode this morning talking about the 3 pillars of health, and I want to share that today on this video too, so you'll get a dose of that information. And then I also want to show you, before I jump in here, this is where I'm currently at. This is the ocean. You can see I'm literally up here against the walls of the bluff of this little area where I'm at. So there's foam all over the beach. Really gnarly stuff. We had a really bad red tide that came in, and the foam is like the leftover remnants of it. And I'm sitting here on top of a rock and doing some writing, and I just thought, you know what, this is the perfect time to drop in on a video with you and talk a little bit about these 3 pillars of health. And what really inspired this was I was reflecting on my life over the last 10 years. And what I realized is that my life doesn't look anything like it did 10 years ago. As you know, through growth and expansion, things do change, and that's, I hope, is very normal for you too. But what's interesting is that there's some really cool stuff that has taken shape. I look at my life 10 years ago, completely different person, completely different friendships, completely different place of living. I don't even look the same, actually. If you saw a picture of me 10 years ago, you would notice I don't even look the same. I mean, I am older, but I don't know. Maybe I'm a little bit biased here, but I think I look better now than I did in my 20s. Maybe that's just me being me. But anyway, what's really cool about this whole thing, though, is I get to look back and reflect. And what's interesting is that I look over the last 10 years, a lot of the questions and a lot of the feedback that I've received from many of you through the social media platforms, just questions at different workshops and events. And I see a lot of common threads in a lot of the questions, which is, I think ultimately everybody just wants to feel their best. They want to have the most possible energy. They want to be able to operate their machine with grace and with ease, pain-free, inflammation-free. I'd like to say drama-free, but let's face it, we live in a pretty wild world, especially right now. My heart goes out to everybody because we're all impacted on this together. But we live in a world where there's a lot of uncertainty right now, and so it inspired me to create this video and the podcast this morning on the 3 pillars of health and the energy in food, because food contains the energy of life, or the life force energy that gives you and me and all of us energy to move through our day with lots of energy, or move through our day with a little energy, or move through our day with almost little to no energy. And I'm sure that somebody, maybe you, wake up in the morning feeling pain and inflammation and a lack of like clarity, brain fog, because I sure felt that 10 years ago. 10 years ago, when my whole journey actually started, there was a whole different, everything was totally different. So I was like 249 pounds. I was actually, at that time, I was living in Atlanta, and I was actually in a 36-inch waist on my pants. I'm now 190. I live here in San Diego. My waist is 32, and my body fat stays around 6 to 8%. Just over the last 10 years, it's not changed a whole lot. And prior to this, when I was 249 pounds, I was eating anywhere from 3,500 to 4,300, 4,400 calories per day. And I was eating every 2 hours on the clock. The alarm went off, bang, I go to eat. It was like an automatic turn on. And I was 17% body fat. I could barely get 5 miles on my bike. Now I could ride 20, 40 miles on a bicycle, no problem. And I've changed my diet dramatically. In fact, I did a whole entire, like a huge shift. And I might have to pick this video back up because my battery, unfortunately guys, is about to die. So if it does, I will pick this video back up where I left off, okay? So I'm gonna keep blasting through. So I wanna jump into this because in the 3 pillars of health, there's a lot of talk about macronutrition, calories, vitamins and minerals, really the chemistry and the composition of foods. There's a lot of talk about that. There's a lot of diets out there like the ketogenic, paleo, there's vegan, there's vegetarian, there's being a fruitarian where you eat just fruit. Listen, I've tried all of them. I know what the results are, at least for myself personally, what I experienced. And the only area that have served me really well over my lifetime, the first 30 years of my life, I ate junk food, lots of meat, lots of calories. Some calories at certain parts of my life were unconscious calories, didn't even know what the hell I was eating. And then there was a very small period of time where I actually documented and journaled all the foods. When I ate every 2 hours and I wanted to be a bodybuilder and I was 249 pounds, I was documenting everything. I still have the journal. I'll see if I can find it and share it one day. But what's interesting about this is that I look at my life over the last 10 years and I feel better than I've ever felt. In fact, when I was prior to this, the first 30 years, I didn't even know that I was feeling that bad. I just thought that was the way that people felt, you know. And now we have so many drinks on the market to increase energy, like Monsters and Red Bulls. And guys, these things are loaded with sugar. They have insane amounts of caffeine in them. And trust me, I've tried them. I know what they're like. I used to drink them prior to this whole lifestyle change. And yeah, sure, it got me through my workout with the jitters and I was able to make it. But the thing is, the reality is that after all of that, the impact that it left on my body, the transaction cost, as I like to say, was that my adrenal glands took the hit, my body took the hit, my energy took a hit, and ultimately in the end, I was left to heal myself. So I don't know if any of you can relate with adrenal fatigue or burnout or exhaustion, but it's a real thing. And when that happens and those systems go down, you feel the impacts of it. You can suffer from depression, pain, inflammation, acids in the body. When the body gets to be in an inflamed or painful state, that means that there is an extreme amount of acids in the body, acidosis as they would call it in the medical world. And what the acids, you know, we just take a look at this real simply. Acids are going to be corrosive. They tear things apart, they break things down. In fact, here's something good that we can all observe, and you may have even seen this before, is that if you take Coca-Cola, it's a 3 pH roughly acid, pour that on your car paint, right? What happens? It eats the paint off the car. And that's a 3 pH acid, and people drink Coca-Cola. So, is that crazy? I mean, people drink it all the time. And so, what do you think it does to the inside of the body? It just rips apart the insides. It's not designed to put that type of acid into the body. It's very corrosive, and it sparks up inflammation. It causes pain. It can cause electrolyte imbalances. I mean, I suffered from all of that. I used to not even be able to go 5 miles on a bike without being out of breath and exhausted. And you know, now it's quite the opposite. But it has to do, like, the diet, your dietary, or whatever you're consuming. You know, I say abs are made in the kitchen. They're not made in the crunch room or in the gym. Everything starts with the foods that we put into our body. Our body is like our sports car. You know, you take an exotic sports car, you would never put regular unleaded fuel in an exotic sports car. You would never put anything, at least I hope not, unless you had to. You'd never put anything except for premium, super premium fuel, because you're paying hundreds of thousands of dollars for that car, and you want the machine to operate in which it's designed to do, which is speed, performance, and our body's the same deal. It's the same exact idea. It's a machine, and it's miraculous in its healing abilities. Your body has the ability to repair itself. You cut yourself, you heal. Break a bone, you heal. There's no difference if you have a tumor, if you have pain or inflammation, you can heal from it, but the mindset and the attitude really shapes and sets your destiny with your health. And I can say that when the attitude slips, and when my attitude prior to starting all of this, I used to not be open to listening to stuff like this. If somebody said, heal your body naturally, this and that, I would not listen to it. It just, you know, in my 20s, I didn't want to hear about it. But the reality is that I wish that I would have known, because it's really helpful information that can really change your life. It sure did mine, and that's why I'm passionate about it and why I like to share and talk about this stuff. Because your attitude can create roadblocks, or it can catapult you forward towards your goals, towards vitality and health. And you don't have to be in a specific category of a vegan or a raw foodist or whatever. There's no labels. You don't have to label yourself. You can just choose a lifestyle. Create your life as a lifestyle, not so much as a diet, because in my opinion, the diets are something that are short term, and diets don't usually stick around for long. They're usually in and out. People crash on them and they go back. But if you create a lifestyle, you take your time to really build that foundation, then what you can do from there is wherever you want to go. And so 10 years ago for me, that all started and began, but my attitude towards it was, I did a lot of research and I found information that made sense. And for me at that time, I didn't even eat vegetables. I didn't like them. I didn't eat fruit. I ate all junk food, really. And so for me to believe in vegetables, it took a real miracle, because I had to condition my mind to go, wow, you know, there is something here. When I listened to Dan McDonald, the Life Regenerator, shout out to Dan on YouTube, those videos in the very beginning where he's standing in front of the RV talking about fruits and vegetables and their benefits, it got my attention, it turned something on, and I immediately invested my attention and awareness into fruits and vegetables. I don't know what his message was, but he spoke directly to me, and I was immediately inspired and I took action. And my mindset became a knowingness. It wasn't like, I didn't waver. I never deviated too much off the track, because my mindset was so strong, and I knew that that's the direction I needed to go. So I think it's a good idea when you're looking for a lifestyle, or you're looking to find a diet that fits, you know, within the makeup of what resonates with you. It's good to look at it from not so much a diet standpoint, but more from the area of a lifestyle. You're creating a lifestyle, something that's going to take you over the finish line and beyond. And when you're doing that, get enough information to really sell yourself, so there's no wavering, there's no deviation. I mean, sometimes it's 2 steps forward, 3 steps back, because things happen. You know, nobody does this perfectly, and in my opinion, there is no perfect, there's no right or wrong. You can't make a mistake. All you can do is learn how to not, like, what doesn't work, and you just keep learning. And I like to say, I failed my way to success because I didn't know what the hell I was doing in the beginning. I didn't have a coach. I just had mentors like Dan McDonald, Dr. Robert Morris in Florida. Shout out to Robert Morris, love him. Also, very inspiring people in my life that helped me to push the gas pedal down and go. And when I made a mistake, I freak out a little bit, maybe fall off track for a minute, and then I get right back on. Just get right back on and keep going forward.